At this point in my business, I have made over $350,000 in revenue with coaching services by having a small audience. And I want to give you the key to monetizing your small audience this year. Hi, my name is Coveney. I'm a business coach. I specialize in monetizing tiny audiences. And this is the Get Clients First podcast, where we talk all things getting coaching clients with a small audience, and we interview the top coaches in the world. But right now, we are taking a little bit of a pause because I needed to tell you how you can go about getting really hot leads. I'm talking scorching hot leads from your small audience right now without having to wait for your audience to grow, without even necessarily having to launch an offer. I want to show you how. So in my last episode, which was a little bonus episode, I explained what this is. What you're stumbling upon right now is lesson 1 of the 10 days of hot leads. This is a series that I'm putting together so that I can show you that you can get hot leads even if you have a small audience. And we're going to deconstruct it to the point that by the end, you will be convinced that you do not need a big audience in order to make money in your business, in order to have sales in your business. So in lesson 1, where we're standing right now, I wanted to give you the key to monetizing the small audience. And it's not what you think. It's not going to be about launching. It's not going to be about getting the right ideal client. Some of those things are really important for your strategy anyway. What I need to share with you today is this concept of engagement. Now, hear me out, because what you have been thinking of engagement so far is not how I define engagement. You probably define engagement in the least empowering way in the world, as something that when you post, it comes to you, right? It's something that you wait for. You want engagement, right? There's a scarcity mindset right there. You want more engagement, but it's not coming to you. And what are you supposed to do about it, right? That is the least empowering position you could ever be when it comes to engagement. So I want to show you the way that I define it in a way that is much more useful to me and to you, so that we can actually get clients from the audience that we already have. So I wanted to start there, because if we don't understand each other when it comes to engagement, the rest of the lessons are just going to seem like they're just not gonna hit home. We need to level our language right now. And we need to start with a very, very important factor of engagement, which is actually the key to monetizing your audience. So before we continue, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, this sounds really interesting, I want you to know that there's actually an email version of this. You could get these reminders in my email if you signed up at 10daysofleads.com. It's going to give you all of the lessons. This is essentially an email and audio course that I put together, and you can get in your email right now. Go to 10daysofleads.com, sign up completely for free right there, and you will get all of these lessons in your inbox. All right, so let's continue here. The key is engagement, but not the way that you have been taught to define it. All right, I'm going to give you a little quiz, right? When I say engagement, when somebody asks you, hey, how's your engagement on social media? You probably think of things like, well, my audience is not engaging with me, right? Like sad trombone, or I don't get a lot of comments in my posts, or people are not answering my stickers on stories. What am I supposed to do? People are just not engaging with me, right? So here's the pop quiz for you. Multiple choice. Which of these statements that I'm about to tell you are true about these things that you keep telling yourself, right? These things that you keep saying about engagement. Oh, people are not engaging with me. People are not answering my stories. Like, which of these following statements is actually true? Number 1, that the fact that your audience is not engaging with you means that people don't like you. Number 2, that these statements, like I don't get enough comments in my posts, like people are not engaging with me, actually put the blame on the audience. And number 3, that the algorithm just flat out hates you. So which of these statements is actually true? If you said putting the blame on the audience, ding, 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 you would be right. Because that is such a low power place to start this conversation, where you think of engagement as something that happens to you, as something that you have no control over. And if you've known me for any period of time, you know that I am a control freak. I need to be in control. I can't just go on social media and just leave it up to the algorithm gods what happens with my business. I realized earlier in my business, but really definitely not soon enough, that I have more control over what happens on my social media account than people have led me to believe. Because the audience growth piece, right? Like the getting a ton of followers is actually not the only goal on social media. Far from it. In fact, if you have a coaching business, your goal is probably to get clients to help other people for an exchange of value for money. That's what you want. You want your business to thrive. You want your business to be making six figures. You want to quit your job. You want to retire your spouse. You have so many dreams. You want to travel the world, right? Then why leave it up to some nameless algorithm? What happens with your business? It's time to take control. So once I figured that out, right, that I want more control over what happens in my business, and I have no control over the algorithm. I don't even have control over when people, quote unquote, engage with me on social media. So I gotta let that go. And I had to figure out how to redefine the concept of engagement. Are you ready for this? So engagement from this point forward is not the likes, the shares, the follows, the comments. Forget about that. Because engagement can't be the thing that you post and then wait for. We have to stop thinking of it that way. Instead, let's take matters into our own hands. And let's say that engagement from now on is all the actions that you take in order to engage with your audience. You see how we flip the pancake right there, right? It's not what your audience is doing to you, it's what you are doing to your audience. So I'm gonna tell you, like, why is that important, right? Why is engagement important? Why do I care? Because small audiences live, thrive, and grow from relationships. And if you're not engaging with your followers, if you're not having relationships with your followers, then engagement is not happening, relationships are not getting built, and it explains why your business is not making money with a small audience. So we need engagement. We need those relationships. A small audience does not survive without relationships. So that's what we're going to foster from this point forward. All right. So if you're ready to start taking control of this, it's time to start thinking of engagement as something you can do. So next time somebody comes up to me, and it could be you, and you say, but Ina, people are not engaging with me. I'm going to give you a tissue and I'm going to tell you to go cry in the corner. And when you're ready to take action, come back to me. Because what I'm going to tell you is, how are you engaging with your audience? What are you doing? Are you going into Facebook groups where your niche is gathered? Are you talking to your followers when they follow you? Are you responding to the comments that you are getting? Are you putting out stickers on your stories? Are you giving people the opportunity, the ease of getting back to you when you post something? Are you making it easy for people to engage with you? If you have completely left social media and you have not been good about stories or good about posting, that explains it. People can't even trust that you're going to be there. So I would give you some really tough love, because it is time for you to take that control, to stop thinking that the algorithm is just doing something bad to you. And who's going to come and save you? Nobody. If you want your business to thrive, you got to prioritize those relationships, which means you need to get on that engagement and you need to do it, not wait for it to happen to you. So what I'm most excited about is that in this 10-part series, I am going to show you how to do that, right? Like, because you might be like, okay, Ina, I get it. I got the tough love. I get it. I understand. It is time for me to go and do more engagement. But what am I supposed to do? Because again, my audience is not engaging with me. My audience is not talking to me. How am I supposed to continue a conversation if they're not even engaging with me? I'm going to teach you all about how to do that. You want to see? So in lesson 2, so the episode from tomorrow, right? The episode right after this one, I am going to help you audit your first impression, because it's really time that you knew how you're coming off. And it's important that you have control over your first impression. When people come to your profile, what are they seeing? Do they see something they like? And are they your ideal clients? It's all up to you. So lesson 2, we're going to tackle that, your very first impression. Then on lessons 3, 4, and 5, we're going to dive deeper into content creation, because I'm going to tell you something. If you thought this was just going to be, oh, how to get more engagement and then you get clients, you would be very mistaken. Because in order to monetize your small audience, you need the two sides of the coin. If you're watching the YouTube video right now, I actually used to make and give these coins right here, you see in the video, to my new clients. And the coin, this is a sales coin. If you want to make a buck, right, in your business, you need both sides of the coin. And the coin on one side says engagement, and on the other side, it says content. So if we are going to talk about monetizing a small audience, we cannot just talk about engagement. Engagement is nice, but if your content is not there, everything is going to suffer. So lessons 3, 4, and 5 are going to be all about how to create that content for the purposes of engagement, nothing more. All right. Then on lesson 6, we're going to make that process of content creation a little bit easier. We're going to talk about batching, because we really need a little bit of automation in our life. We cannot spend all of our time creating content, because some of you have gotten stuck there, that you spend all your time creating content for the app, and people are still not engaging with you, and things are still not happening, and you're getting discouraged and you're getting burned out. So we need to talk about batching. We need to talk about that automation. It's going to save you from yourself so you can focus on the things that you really need to be focusing on, like getting clients. Then on lessons 7 and 8, since we already got our content strategy down by that point, we're going to tackle the big kahuna: engaging in Facebook groups where your niche is hanging out without getting banned and without getting blocked and without getting kicked out. All right, there is a way to do this. There is a way to get yourself in front of those audiences and be loved and adored without getting banned, without getting pushed out. Even the admins are going to love you. So we are going to tackle that on lessons 7, and 8. Then when we start to get to lesson 9, you already have pretty much a whole strategy already set up for engagement. So we need to start talking about the difference between visibility and audience growth, because they're not the same thing. They do not have the same goals, and they're not the same tactics. They're not the same steps. They're not the same actions. You need to know the difference between the two so that you can use them to your advantage. Because growing an audience, as easy as some people make it seem, is actually really, really hard to do, especially when you're staying in your niche, when you don't have mass appeal, right? If what you do doesn't appeal to your mother-in-law the same way that it appeals to a 10th grader, then it's really hard to grow an audience. So we can't wait. I'm not going to wait. We can't wait until our audience grows exponentially for us to start making money in our business. So we need to talk about that, visibility versus audience growth. And finally, on lesson 10, all of this is only going to stick if you have the right routine set up in your business. So we're going to talk a little bit time management, a little bit of how to make this work, how to develop that grit, how to develop that stick to it routine, because you're going to need it. Because you could listen to all of this, implement for an entire week, and then just drop everything, and that's just not going to serve you. So we really need to talk about how to make this stick, and your business will never be the same. So thank you so much for listening to this. I can't wait until lesson number 2 that is happening tomorrow. We're going to be tackling all about how you are coming off so that you can own that very first impression. Now, remember, if you would like to receive this email and audio course in your email, go to 10daysofleads.com, sign up completely for free, and you'll get these as email reminders in your inbox. I'll see you tomorrow.